We come to a guaranteed chaotic episode in this F1 25 My Team Career Mode series where we are once again driving as ourselves the owner driver in this game mode. It is reverse Zandvoort, but the chaos follows an already insanely chaotic Belgium Grand Prix where you're seeing that right. We randomly unlocked / glitched into some manual driving in the pit lane for both our pit stops. We had full control of the car, and I didn't know, frankly, what to do with it, and the game didn't know what to do with it in terms of the actual pit stop itself. But then even more crazy was that wasn't the biggest part of the episode. The biggest part was us going from last place with 3 laps to go. We had gone early on Inters, Verstappen pit off the safety car, and we both came through for a 1-2. The team's first 1-2 of the season. It feels like the first 1-2 we've had in a while with our teammates in this team. But we came through from last to first in 3 laps with a decision that was made really honestly 5 laps before that by going on to Inters when no one else was going on to it, and we stuck with it. We stuck with the gamble, and it paid off as we got ourselves into the lead of the championship once again. Bortoletto still remaining in second place after a pretty decent recovery actually in that race, you know, all things considered, but then moved down the order in the end with the wet period. But Verstappen up to P4 then, but it still looks like a 5-way championship fight, really. And you know, it's had many different twists and turns. That was one for us that went our way, of course, but it can just go another way, and really it did go other people's way in that episode. You know, Bortoletto ghosting through 7 cars. I'm not forgetting about that. That was still incredibly illegal. I don't know how he got away with that. Obviously, in the end, it didn't matter with the way the race went with the rain, but still. But now we're here at a, well, very difficult reverse Zandvoort. I feel like all the reverse tracks, even though they've been modeled properly in reverse, you know, everything, the brake boards, etc., all in reverse, I still feel like there's like an underlying little bit of skatishness in all the reverse tracks, in the same way when you drive the wrong way at a track that's going the correct way. Because you're going the wrong way, the game intentionally makes the grip slipperier, trying to spin you back the right way. I almost feel like that's kind of still maybe a little bit there in the underlying coding when we come to these reverse tracks. Or it might just be the case of your muscle memory, my muscle memory of my feet just aren't used to it going backwards. So you have these moments of oversteer, and we're controlling that a lot better on this second flyer in Q1. We had 2 snaps of oversteer in the first lap, so this second lap was much needed as we're going to be nearly up to 9/10 1 second maybe? No, not quite, but nearly 1 second gained on that second flyer, as we are just looking to get ourselves into Q2 ready, obviously, in P5. Verstappen P12, so he's going to have to find a little bit of time. Although, look at those times on the right. Really up and down. We've got a Toyota in second place. Mercedes looking genuinely strong. I was very surprised at Lando Norris being right up there in Belgium. It seems like maybe Mercedes have found something, because they're again looking pretty good around here. So maybe we've got the Silver Arrows as a bit of a spanner in the works. They're not in the title fight, they're not even in the constructors fight, but if they're there, you know, in the thick of it, they could be taking points off ourselves, off our rivals. It could go either way, as we're now in Q2 and trying to make our way through into the top 10 shootout. Of course, a little bit of grass excursion on that opening lap in Sector 1, but P8 on the board. We need to go better though. But look at this, I go on for a second flyer. This is the end of the session, and when you load into the flying lap, the AI takes control of your car. I let by like 4 cars. We've only got 20 seconds to go until the checkered flag falls. I was absolutely bricking it, thinking, hang on a minute, the AI controlling my car just let through 4 cars and also slowed ourselves up. Are we going to make this? This is going to be so close. 4, 3, 2. Oh, we just made it with 2 seconds to spare. But because of that, I felt like the pressure was on. I was a little bit flustered, and that got the better of us on the grass as we spin, and we've taken out Leclerc as we're in the middle of the track. Charles Leclerc gets caught up in it. We've been given a 5-place penalty for that. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. a second hit. We just got a second 5-place penalty. I didn't even hit Leclerc that time. That second hit was a Mercedes. How have we got a second penalty for hitting Leclerc? And the second time someone hit me, it was not even Leclerc, it was Mercedes. Well, the car doesn't look healthy, obviously, and that's my session over. So I'm going to blame that on that AI-controlled lap, because that put the pressure on me, and as has clearly been shown many times on this game, the pressure for me in qualifying, I don't do very well under pressure in qualifying, and it's got to me there with that spin, and then coming together with Leclerc was unfortunate. I feel like a little bit hardly done by with 2 penalties there. 1 would have sufficed, but now this guarantees us to be at the back of the grid. So, you know, we spoke about Bortoleto having that task last episode. Today, it's our turn. You know, Verstappen had it earlier in the season in Spain, so looks like all of us in the championship fight have this one race where we need to come back from the back, and this is our turn at the Dutch Grand Prix in reverse. Let's go to the grid.
We're on the coast of the North Sea at Zandvoort circuit, 25 miles outside of Amsterdam. We're all set for the Dutch Grand Prix, a race that the greats have won at, including Jim Clark, who took the biggest trophy home here on 4 occasions. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Zach O'Sullivan lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bortoleto, Albon, Max Verstappen and Gasly, Solov, Pepe Marti, Doohan and Lando Norris, Leclerc, Maloney, Richard Verschoor and Stroll, Lawson, Hadjar, Paul Aaron and Jack Crawford, Martins, Fittipaldi, Barnard and Jenson Button rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Welcome to the commentary box and welcome to Naomi Schiff. I'm Alex Jakes. Naomi, this is going to be interesting. Well, this is the most advanced sport anywhere on the planet. How's it changed since you were last racing?
It is certainly an interesting time in this set of regulations because, as you know, when a new set of regulations come out, everything changes and you always wonder who's got it right. Well, we know that Red Bull are the ones who really got it right the last couple of years. But now you can see the rest of the grid slowly start to catch up and there's really only so much left for Red Bull to get out of these regulations. So it is interesting and the pack are catching up.
Well, it's another one of those races where somehow a Williams Porsche has got on pole position. How long is it going to take them to fall back down the order? And for us, how quickly can we ascend up this grid from 22nd place? Hey, Ferrari got some assistance last episode with some ghosting. I'm just putting it out there. Could I possibly gain 7 places ghosting through a car? I would very much love that. I think that would be quite fair to even things up in a way. So we're going to have to see how it goes. We're starting on the medium. We've got 1 or 2 people on the softs, but I think tyre wear will be high. So I'll be surprised if those softs will carry on long into the Grand Prix as we get going to 5 red lights. And we're underway for the reverse Dutch Grand Prix. And this run to the alternative turn 1 is a bit sketchy here. The banking is really not a place where you want to commit too early with heavy fuel, so we lift off and we're just trying to float our way down the inside of 1-2 Audi. Didn't quite work on the second Audi, but it will do into the next section as we get Crawford. Yellow flag somewhere for someone making a bit of contact as we have to get caught up behind Lawson. A little bit of contact with Crawford as that corner is so awkward. You know, driving yourself, let alone trying to go side by side, because I feel like it's quite off camber and the curb is pretty nasty. As O'Sullivan then, as we focus on the lead, is still leading the race, to be fair to him. 6/10 ahead of Russell, Albon, Gasly, Bortoleto, Verstappen. So to be fair, maybe our car just isn't working that well around here in terms of I'm trying to find the silver lining of being down in 18th place. Verstappen seemingly not on pace with Ferrari and Red Bull, but Leclerc even worse, and that will be annoying for him to try and keep himself, you know, firmly still consistent in this championship. O'Sullivan, to my surprise, still leading the way. Then I honestly thought he would have been kind of already down to second or third by this point, but he's actually setting a fastest lap. What's going on here? As we fail to overtake Lawson into the final corner, we have to go for the second bite of the cherry as we get a second chance to overtake. Dipping a tyre into the grass. I've got PTSD from qualifying now, going on the grass and being extra careful on throttle. But yeah, as we get Lawson finally for 17th place, the duality of Williams Porsche here is astounding. Aaron in 15th place, struggling, not making any kind of headroom. And then O'Sullivan, he's actually growing his gap. The gap has gone from 0.6 to 1.3, 1.4. Have Williams Porsche found something? Have they found something? And seemingly they've only given the upgrade to O'Sullivan. I don't know. But right now, Russell's actually under pressure from Albon rather than looking forwards. So we've got a fight for 2-3. But the Williams Porsche is pulling away comfortably at a rate of about 1/10 per sector, basically. As Albon now is going to try and line up a pass on Russell. Russell looking to bounce back from a difficult Belgium Grand Prix where him and Gasly both were outside the top 10 for much of the weekend. And they need to bounce back, really, otherwise Russell will kind of fall out of the championship fight. But Albon gets him as there's an insane battle between the two Toyotas. Unbelievable. Is that Marty on the right-hand side? I think it is, yeah. Marty went round the outside on that left-hander off the banking. That's nuts for an AI to pull off. Like, we've tried it a few times here and there, but for an AI to do it is insane. As we now make the dive on Hadjar as he closes his DRS. He's still there on the inside. We have to try and float this round on the right. Hadjar gives us a good fight, but eventually we've done really well to stick it through on the outside there. And to be fair, he's on soft, so maybe now his tyres starting to go off. Maybe that's what we're seeing there. And to be fair, that's a good point. Maybe that's what's happening to the cars ahead in the top 5 or 6. I don't know what tyres they're on, but maybe that's possibly the reason. Verstappen's on medium, so he's still got a couple of laps good still in this one. I think it will be a 2-stop. That's why I say, you know, the soft is probably going off. The medium's still good, as Russell now is coming back at Albon, but the gap is 2.5 to O'Sullivan. He is cooking. What has he cooked up on that side of the garage for Williams with Aaron 15th place? As that was Bortoletto, was it? Overtaking Gasly. So the Ferrari and Red Bulls are definitely just swapping with each other, very on pace with each other. Verstappen can't really get in the mixer quite yet as we try and get past our good old pal, Paul Aaron, from the end of last season. He single-handedly helped us maybe win the championship. In that regard. So yeah, Aaron, maybe that's why Aaron's not looking great. Maybe Williams have found an upgrade and they've only given the upgrade to O'Sullivan because this is payback for Aaron denying Tsunoda that win in the championship. I don't know. I'm just pulling at straws because I'm so confused at why he's so good right now. Yellow flags for what the? For what? For a flying car in the middle of the track? Where the hell did that come from? We're out! I'm shell-shocked. We're out! I was going to continue commentating as if that was just a crash and we can carry on. We're out! That's our race over prematurely. Lance Stroll's had an engine failure and drifted off circuit and crashed into the wall. That's an insane set of events. Engine failure here. He goes wide, crashes into the wall, comes back on track, and we were blindsided. We had no clue that was coming. There was a yellow flag, but at that point you didn't know what it was for. And that's a hefty hit. That is so unfortunate. Because look how quickly this comes out. It's like there's no way of telling where he was, where that was, just anything. I'm lost for words. This is the slow-mo. At this point, there's no yellow flags yet. There is on my wheel, but I didn't see any yellow flags on my, in the surroundings. And you don't really look at your wheel that intently when you're playing the game in TCAM. At this point, he's had the crash. He's having an engine failure, but you can't even see him because the cars ahead of me basically hid him from my view. And then if we go to full speed, you'll see how difficult it is to react to that. But I just find it unbelievable That's happened in that kind of way, that he's had an engine failure in the middle of that corner, and that sent him off wide. He's hit the wall, sheared his tyre off, ricocheted back, been hidden by the cars ahead of me, and that's just caused us to have a collision midway through the track. And that is it. That is game over. We've not had an engine failure of our own yet, and I've been very, very lucky in that regard, because two of our rivals have had some shaky races that they've pushed them down out the top 10. But this is something you can't account for. Just a random DNF, and that is our race over. That's our weekend over. And annoyingly, we can't watch the rest of the race because there's no way to do that. I really hope in a future game they're able to maybe be able to still simulate the rest of the race in a way you can watch it. But
the British driver looks up and sees the checkered flag first. Zach O'Sullivan takes the win.
No way. You are kidding me. How?
Such an important victory at this stage of the season. Any points you can achieve to go towards the table is really going to mean a lot to the team. So well done as they prepare for the end of the season.
How's that happen then? O'Sullivan wins an F1 race. Williams Porsche back to winning ways. What?
Here they are now. I always love seeing the independent teams do well. Williams have had a long and storied history with F1, and I'm delighted to see them on the top step of the podium.
Of course, Williams, my old rivals, using my old engine, they go back to winning ways when I DNF, of course. What's happened there? I'm getting my tinfoil hat on. I think Williams finally fixed the car, but they've only given the upgrade to O'Sullivan to pay back Aaron for not letting Tsunoda win the championship. That's my theory there. We've now got a lot of work to do to come back from that DNF, but that is a shock to the F1 world in this season. Guys, if you have enjoyed the episode, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys around.